Hi there, it's Sarah from Cedar Hills Homestead, and I am about to give you the 10-cent tour of our little rabbitry. As you're about to see, most of this is a novice homemade project. I am not a professional, and I built a lot of this with a newborn baby in a wrap and a toddler at my feet. I have definitely made some mistakes, which I'm going to point out to you, so maybe you can avoid them too. Something I did right is putting up an electric fence around most of my rabbitry, as well as all of my goats and chickens. My fence energizer seems like overkill for such a small area, but don't forget that I am high up in the Rocky Mountains in northwestern Montana, and our 20 acres is backed up to 2.2 million acres of national forestry. So we have a ton of wildlife, including bobcats, lynx, mountain lions, grizzly bears, black bears, wolves, coyotes, and foxes. Our first stop is actually the chicken coop, which we lovingly refer to as Hennigan Hotel. It is a small 5 by 8 foot coop. I have this set up to be multi-purpose. Up high, I have a door that leads out to the goat pen. This allows my chickens to commingle with the goats without letting any of the goats inside the chicken coop. Since the coop door is so high up, it is not likely that the rabbits will ever figure out how to escape through this door. So during that week or two in January where our temperatures drop below -40 or sometimes even -50 degrees Fahrenheit, I feel safe taking my rabbits from their open air hutches and dropping them in here with my chickens. That allows them to share body heat. Down low, I have a second coop door that leads out to beneath a rabbit hutch. That outside area has a wire bottom, and here inside the coop has a cobblestone floor. So it is totally dig proof and safe for my bunnies. And I have to say that the chickens really seem to like being underneath the rabbit hutch in the winter because that is the one spot that doesn't have several feet of snow. You just got a glimpse of our hay box right there on the front of the coop. That makes feeding nice and easy. In this very first hutch, you get to see Jake, which is our one and only breeder buck. I had intended to keep him and one doe in this hutch all the time together. He is very sweet to the girls and all of their babies, no problem there. But as you can see, this very homemade hutch has quite a few gaps that are big enough for squirrels to fit through, and squirrels will rob your rabbit nest if given the chance. So now each of the 4 girls have their own places, and they only come visit Jake for just a little bit at a time. Jake's hutch cost $30 to make, and the girls' 4 cages was around $150. I do have articles and videos on those, so I'll make sure I link to that in the description below. My 5 adults take turns rotating out into this rabbit tractor. I made it long and skinny so that way it can fit in between my log raised beds. I would like to make more of these next summer. Making sure that these animals have a good life is definitely a priority for me. And when possible, I like to let them enjoy being on the ground and in the sunshine. There are risks of them picking up parasites by having direct contact with the ground, so do keep that in mind if you're considering doing something similar. The only real downside that I can find with the rabbit tractors is I do not feel safe leaving my rabbits in them overnight, so I carry them out to the tractor in the morning and then carry them back to their normal cage at night so that way they're safe inside their electric fence. This seemed like a fine spot for a compost pile when I first started it because we get such deep snow in the winter. I really didn't want to have to carry it far, but now we have a tractor and it would definitely be nice to have it inside a box where it could just be scooped up. That would also cut down on how much the hens fling it around too. Beneath these cages, I have angled tin to help guide where the manure falls. The manure rolls right out in front, which is convenient, and the urine just soaks right into the ground because we have very rocky soil. That keeps the odor way down. Behind the tin, I have bear boards set up. Surprisingly, we haven't had any trouble with the bears bothering the rabbits, but it does give me peace of mind at night knowing that there's something back there to deter them. Yes, there's electric line back there too, but that is just an added precaution. And bears are so much smarter than people give them credit for. They are not going to just blindly stumble through here and step on this. When they see those nails, they're going to leave it alone and try to find, hopefully, a noisier entry, which will give me enough time to react. I found this big 4-door cage on Facebook Marketplace. Part of the reason why it was for sale was because a big tree had fallen on it. I did my best to straighten it out, but it is still quite a bit crooked. I would like to find another really big cage just like this one. This is 3 feet by 12 feet, and then knock out 2 of the dividers on each of them. So that way we have 4 cages that are 3 feet wide and 6 feet long. I have wooden platforms in each of the cages, and the rabbits who don't use their nesting boxes as litter boxes get to keep them all the time, whether they have kits on them or not. Now let's go check on our grow out rabbits. This hutch has 2 doors, and the middle of it can slide in or out depending on if I want it to be a big cage or a small cage. The litter on the left is about a month older than the litter on the right. This is the only hutch not protected by electric fence, but it is quite literally right under our bedroom window. We always keep a bedroom window cracked even in the coldest part of the year. That helps us react much quicker if there's a predator in the night. Which is good because this hutch was made from completely reclaimed materials, including chicken wire on the front. Rabbits can chew through chicken wire, no problem. No one has told these rabbits that they can do that. They haven't tried it yet. But that is something I watch for, and it really wouldn't do much to keep a predator out if they really wanted in. Aside from the wire I used on the front of this hutch, my only other complaint with this is that I've got it facing the south. It's on the south side of my house, so it gets quite a bit of sunshine in the summertime, and that is not ideal for rabbits. The only redeeming quality here is that my rabbits are usually not in this hutch during the daytime. Instead, they are out inside their oversized rabbit tractor in the front yard. And since they're in the front yard, they're on the north side of the house, which means they're protected from the sun and are gonna be a lot cooler. Now you'll notice that these rabbits are fully fed and fully watered. They even have a little pile of grain there, which if you're wondering why I'm feeding them grain like that, make sure you check out my How to Feed Your Animals Without the Feed Store series. I go into a lot of detail there. These rabbits see me as the bringer of food and the person who teleports them out into the yard for their field days. Every time they see me, they know I've got something good going on for them. This makes it very easy to catch and move them between their 2 places. And when dispatching day comes, they are not going to be afraid of me at all, and in fact, they think something good is about to happen to them. And I'm very quick to dispatch, so they never see it coming and they never feel a moment of pain or fear. And I'll say that makes the process so much easier for me. Anyway, here's the rabbit tractor for my grow outs. I think it is 5 feet wide and maybe 7 or 8 feet long. It also has chicken wire on the sides, and it's got dog kennel wiring on the bottom. That won't stop a rabbit from digging out, but it does slow it down, and as long as this thing stays moving, I don't have to worry about them getting out. I'd like to build at least one more tractor like this. They're handy to have. The rabbits really enjoy spending time in them, and they save me a lot of work and the means of not having to forage for my rabbits every day or buy and provide hay for them during the summertime. Now, rabbits are more active at night, which is kind of a bummer that they have to be back in their cages at night. But they do seem to adjust being out during the day pretty well. And I don't think they mind moving their schedules around like that so long as it keeps them safer. These little guys literally weaned 2 days ago. They seem to be handling it really well, and Mom has done nothing but stretch out and enjoy her peace and quiet for the past 2 days. My setup is really simple, which I think is why it's so manageable. And this setup makes it almost impossible to mix up your babies with their parents. And it lets me keep track of who came from which mother and when, which really helps me keep the whole pedigree thing and record keeping in general on track and good to go. I'm gonna bring the goats up from pasture now. Be on the lookout for our next greenhouse update. It is a year-round 640 square feet greenhouse that we are building from wood that we milled from our own property. Maybe I'm a dork, but I think that's pretty interesting. Thank you for letting me talk at you. And I guess we'll see each other on screen next Monday. Bye!